How you doing, guys? Returned from Spain last night. Had a wonderful week in the sun. Feel so energised, so much more centred. What I've noticed is that I was light deficient. Going over to Spain and getting the weather that we've had on the Costa del Sol, and having the blue skies, the blue oceans, the white buildings, the roses, the different flowers, just the overall colour really does lift your mood considerably, especially since living in Manchester this year has become, it's known for being grey anyway. Yeah, there's a lot. Manchester's got amazing people, amazing qualities, but the weather over the last 12 months has deteriorated. We've had more rain, we've had more grey skies, more chemtrailing, and you become normalised to it, but you can sink. I felt myself sinking with it all. And with it being so damp, not getting out as much for the walks in nature and stuff, so it affected me out. So it's been a big shot in the arm, me little visit to Spain this week. And the fresh salads. The fresh salads this week. And the it's peanuts, man. You can get a little cafe bar on the road there nearby. And you can order yourself a little meal. You don't even have to order yourself a meal. You can just buy a beer and get free tapas. But the tapas in Spain is not great or in my experience, I've not travelled around Spain. I've been to Costa del Sol, a few regions there, and Granada. But generally, they love the meat. And if you're going as a vegetarian, you're going to be scraping around a bit. What you can rely on is amazingly fresh salads and vegetables, great bread, and great sunshine really. But in terms of finding options for vegetarian where you're replacing your protein, I think I've come back protein deficient this week. I'm really starving all the time, waking up starving, going to bed starving, and munching away. But I think I've got to go and do a shop and get some protein, high protein snacks in nuts, avocados, and some greens and stuff, legumes, maybe some other bits to get myself back on really. But generally, the value for money is fantastic. So anyway, I was gonna be talking about forgiveness and you being good enough, because I've just had a bit of a realisation there. So before I went to Spain, there'd been a number of jobs that I've been putting off, work-related jobs that there was no major urgency as far as I'm concerned, but in the back of my mind there, it was niggling away at me. And I was sort of like, but I'll give myself permission to ignore it all completely whilst I was in Spain and come back to it. And I've just sent a few little emails just sort of like saying, and I just wrote it without even thinking about it. I'm sorry, but I've not been well. And then I went to Spain for a complete work break. And I thought, that feels better, that. I've just been honest with them. I think somewhere in the back of my mind there, there's a little person going, you should be doing these jobs. You should be getting on with them. You should be getting them done early and making yourself look professional and all that, and pushing things on and, to provide that extra bit of security. But it didn't feel right. I felt like I just needed to completely chill. As ever, I'm always going through this big spiritual transformation, but I've just recently this morning just come to opened up a space for myself to forgive myself and say it's okay. You can do what you can work as you want, and if it's a lot slower than a lot of other people who you might be working with, well, that's not my problem. I know that I do a good job anyway, but my overall, the truth to myself, and I've got to feel right me to work. I am not conditioned at all by any form of routine or structure. It doesn't exist. My routine and structure is my family, and I serve their needs as best as I can. I am a bit of a hermit, but so I have a lot of time and space for myself, but I also combine that at the same time with serving the wife and spending time with the kids and all the rest of it. So that family thing is core for me. But I don't just sort of think, right, I'm getting up at 7 o'clock, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. You know, generally I'll work if I've got work to do. So I spend a lot of time not doing very little really, from a surface 3-dimensional perspective. But in reality, if I'm not in that work zone really, I'm exploring the inner landscape, you know, and dealing with issues, analysing fault lines, just feeling my way through life really. And that's what I am. I'm an empath, you know, and the thing that I'm really passionate about is self-healing, which is why obviously I spend a lot of time with myself, and also by serving other people's needs to get a high out of that, you know, because, you know, I do want to make this place, the world, better. But if I'm not able to do that from a 3D dimensional respect, then I'm with myself. So other people might misview that sometimes and think he's a right lazy bastard. Or, you know, who do you think he is? You know, like laying around there like the Lion King or something. But ultimately, I've improved my life and my personality massively by getting rid of all the shit. And there's fucking dozens of layers of that stuff, mate. Loads. So, here I am today, loving myself more, taking easy on myself more, forgiving myself more, and saying, and being honest with people about it, not having to bend the truth just to sort of like to sort of like make things look a little bit more shinier. Just saying, listen, you know, I'm past the deadline, but I've not been right, and I've been away. And when I was away, I said to myself, that is, I'm not going to fucking touch one email. I'm having a full-on break, full-on, you know what I mean? And that's what, I've come back looking and feeling much better. And when I feel the vibe, I'll continue to sort of like get on with the jobs that need doing. But when you're in a critical time for you know, in terms of your inner journey, you know, you do have to set your priorities, and your priority is yourself, because you're not able to serve anybody else if you're an empty vessel. So that's me anyway. Right, guys, I'll love yous and leave yous. Ta-da.